hepatitis B, we've talked about it. I know we've talked about it before. It influenced your dad. It influenced you. But give us kind of the risk aspects of this.
Well, let me say too, with the hepatitis B, this was interesting to me. After one of my children was born, and we'd left the hospital, and I have that first appointment with my doctor. And did she get the Hep B vaccine? No. Oh, that's okay, because it's an extra one anyway. If she's getting the ones that she's supposed to get at 2 and 4 and 6 months or whatever the schedule is for Hep B, she's fully covered anyway. And I'm going, wait a second, you're giving my newborn a vaccine for an illness that she's going to get if she's sexually active or sharing needles with somebody, like within hours of her birth. And now you're telling me that it's extra anyway? Like she could just be, get it at 2 months. And that to me was absolutely mind-boggling, because it shows, wait, she knows that even if she believes that my child is at risk for Hep B at some point in the future, why are we giving an extra dose of Hep B in there? That just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
So what is that
right?
about? What is that about?
Well, what that's about is there's one brand of vaccines, actually 2 now, that combine Hep B with a few other vaccines that you're getting at 2, 4, and 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctor is giving you these 3 other vaccines in this one injection, and Hep B's in there also. And you only need 3 Hep B's to develop, the full level of immunity that the vaccine will give you. So if you got the newborn dose, the doctor's just going to give you the 2-month, 4-month, and 6-month big combo vaccine that has Hep B anyway. So that's where the extra dose comes from.
Right.
Yeah, instead of giving you, say, one of those, if they were to not give you an extra Hep B, they'd have to break up the components of that vaccine that has Hep B in it and give you individual injections, say at your 4-month visit. So you're not getting an extra Hep B at 4 months, but it means more needles.
So, right. But my question is, why are we giving it at birth then? I mean, if mom's not Hep B positive, and if I'm not, going back to a drug house with my baby, then why are we giving it at birth anyway? Even if we think you should really have this, if you're going to tell me by 6 months old you're fully covered anyway, then why are we giving this as soon as the baby's born? I don't understand.
Yeah. And then one of you said earlier that they never remove a vaccine from the schedule. And we technically can't say never, because they did remove smallpox vaccine, back in 1969. I think that's the only one I can think of.
It's the only thing good that happened in 1969.
Well, we landed on the moon.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was pretty cool.
I was born.
Oh, there you go. Wow. You look way younger than that, by the way.
Well, thank you.
You do. I think you're my age. I was born in '79, so
wow. Yeah. Happy marriage, I think.
That's good.
Keeps you young looking. Gosh, yeah, where were we?
Hep B.
We're on the moon.
Yeah.
No,
it was removed in 1969.
Oh yeah, no.
Smallpox.
Yeah, no. So what happened was when they came out with Hep B vaccine in 1992, I believe it was 92, they didn't have the combo that they gave at 2 months, 4 months, 6 months. Mm-hmm. So all babies got individual Hep B vaccines. Mm-hmm. They got it at birth, 1 month, and 6 months. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then when a company came out with this combo that has Hep B thrown in at 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, you're right. You would think they would start telling people, well, don't get it in the hospital.
You don't need it there.
Skip that because we'll be giving it.
Why is it even offered?
Yeah. And they never make a vaccine policy like that that's only going to apply to some people, because then it confuses people. Mm-hmm. They have to make vaccine policy that just covers everybody the same way. So they'd rather babies get an extra dose than try to tell some people to skip the birth dose and
look at someone else and say, you might be at risk. So,
right.
Okay.
No, you're right. That's true too. And which I guess we're going to talk about, that speaks to why they first came out with the Hep B vaccine. It's a sexually transmitted infection, in case the audience doesn't know. And so they came out with this vaccine for high-risk people who are sharing IV drug needles, people who are very sexually promiscuous with multiple partners. They would be at higher risk for Hep B, so they came out with that vaccine. Well, no surprise, none of those high-risk people would come in to get the vaccine. So they basically had this vaccine with no customers. And so they essentially said, well, some moms who are pregnant have Hep B and they can infect their newborn babies. Right, so we got to protect all these newborn babies. So, but like you just said, we can't single out high-risk women only who have Hep B and only give their babies Hep B vaccine in the hospital, because then that's discriminatory. It's a singling out high-risk populations. And again, we can't make confusing vaccine policies. So if we just give everyone the vaccine, we're going to cover people who are born to a mom.
God, it's such sloppy logic. It's such sloppy logic. I hate it.
Yeah.
It drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
But it's so convenient for the pharmaceutical company.
It is.
I wish the laws of our business worked like that.
But see, doctors didn't question this, and I'll tell you why they didn't question it. 2 companies made Hep B vaccines. Both companies had their lead researcher who made the vaccine, a doctor who helped make the vaccine. Those 2 doctors teamed up with some other doctors at medical schools and published this big study, research study that showed that their conclusion was as many as 30,000 American babies are coming down with hepatitis B every year for unknown reasons without risk factors. As many as 30,000. And they published that study with no good data at all in it to support that claim. And so doctors, we see this study come across our desk. We're like, 30,000 children catching Hep B every year? Oh, that's terrible. We got to start vaccinating everybody.
How are they getting it?
Yeah, the most logical way to have done this study was basically test 10,000 kids' blood for Hep B, just random testing. Like a kid's getting a blood draw, test them for Hep B. The kid's in the hospital and an ER, just do a Hep B test. See what the prevalence of Hep B is in our population among young kids. And we get like a solid number. You might say, 10 kids in our country mysteriously come down with Hep B, or maybe 20, but not 30,000 kids. That number came from these researchers interviewed like 100,000 adults who had Hep B, 100,000. And they asked them, well, where do you think you caught it? 30% of them had no idea. 30% of them said, well, I was not promiscuous. I didn't share IV drug needles. I don't know where I caught it.
Oh my
so
God.
I'm not lying. And this study is in the resources of the vaccine book. The researchers concluded, well, if 30% of 100,000 adults don't know where they're catching their Hep B, that means as many as 30,000 children are catching it during childhood through unknown means.
It's incredible.
It is incredible.
And not only was it done by these 2 researchers that developed the vaccine for 2 pharmaceutical companies, it was done by some prominent medical schools as well. So doctors bought it.
All right. So I had this question earlier and we didn't get to it when we were talking about blanket immunity. And I get that pharmaceutical companies aren't going to be sued for bad effects of vaccines. But studies like that seems like they should be able to be sued for, by pushing out bad data, misleading information that influences an entire industry. I mean, it's not like copyright. It's not a copyright issue. It's just like totally misleading, fraudulent medical
claims.
Yeah, well, it's very misleading.
It seems bad to do.
But I want to know what is the lawyer in you
I don't know.
Hear when you hear this term. The way they word it is they say as many as 30,000 kids.
All right.
So that means it's somewhere between 0 and 30,000 are coming down with Hep B every year. So the study didn't lie.
Oh man.
It was they had an agenda and they achieved their agenda. So now they have this vaccine they can give all the babies.
It is so deceptive.
Yeah.
But probably legal.
Yeah, and the CDC used to say as many as 30,000. They've since downgraded it to say as many as 15,000 American babies are unknowingly coming down with Hep B every year. We don't know how, we don't know why. So we should keep vaccinating. And I don't even know where they got that number.
Right.
So,
Kevin and Nicholas, make that whole segment about this, as many as 30,000. That is such make it into a short or a clip, because that is so demonstrative of how misleading information can become policy.
Oh yeah.
It's a staggering reality.
Yeah.
Well, it's also when that information gets out, the average parent goes, wait a second, I'm being led to believe something that's not true. And that's not okay. I feel like there's just so many more parents now that are falling into that bucket of, wait a second, something. And I think a lot of it came from the pandemic, right? Where it's like, your kids all need this new COVID vaccine. Everybody go get it for your kids. And a lot of people were like, but wait a second, this is brand new. And it's not only brand new, it's brand new technology, at least brand new as far as bringing it to the human population, the mRNA vaccine, widespread use in the United States, under emergency use authorization. I don't really think I'm going to give that to my kid, because I'm looking at this and my kid is running around and testing COVID positive, and you wouldn't even know it, except that they have a little bit of a cold, and I'm kind of sick right now, so that kind of led, I think, to more and more people digging into other vaccines that went, wait a second, if they're doing this with this, then what, like you said, with you, it was, DTP. If they're doing this with this, what's behind the scenes with all of the other ones? And I think that's happening more, and people are asking a lot more questions now.